Are you a first-time home buyer or maybe somebody who hasn't bought a home in a while and you want to avoid some kind of deadly or delay causing mistakes because of finances? Watch this video. I'm going to give you the top 3 assumptions that people make in their loans in a home purchase that you want to avoid. I'm Jenny Ullman. I am a realtor here in Tucson, Arizona, and these are things that I've seen happen with clients and in discussions with clients that you are best to avoid if you want things to go smoothly in your home purchase. And specifically, I'm going to talk about assumptions that people make about some money things that you need to make sure you talk with your realtor and your loan officer before starting a contract. God damn it. Are you getting ready to shop for a home and you want to avoid delays and problems with your financing because of it? Make sure to watch this video because I'm going to give you the 3 assumptions that I see people make a lot about their lending, the lending side of their home purchase that you want to best avoid. I'm Jenny Ullman. I am a realtor here in Tucson, Arizona, and I have seen people make some of these assumptions at different points in a contract, and my best advice is have these detailed discussions with your realtor before you even start to shop for a home. And it sounds like, man, that's personal, and I don't really know if I'm comfortable talking with somebody about this stuff. But let me just tell you, if you don't get comfortable and you don't have a realtor and loan officer you trust, it gets even more uncomfortable. And you might be risking money you don't want to risk. So let's get down to it. What are the 3 things that I see people assume about financing that they don't want to do? Number 1 is using whatever lender gives me the lowest rate is going to be my best deal. Assumption number 1, that may not be true. And let me talk you through a couple of reasons why. Number 1, everybody, we see the commercials, we hear them on the radio, we can get online and say, oh, where's 1-800-LOANS, my 1-800 loan companies. This guy's offering a 5% interest rate and everybody else is offering 6%. That's going to be my best deal, right? So let's talk about this. The 1-800 lenders, they can give you a great spiel and deal, and yeah, they might legitimately be giving you a 5% interest rate. What you may not be being told is how much is that loan going to cost you? What is your total all-in that you're going to pay? Because a 5% interest rate that you're paying an extra $10,000, $20,000 for, all of a sudden may not be the best deal. A local lender, which is what I recommend to people for a couple of different reasons, will walk you through and make sure that you have an estimated closing costs, how much your estimated fees will be, and they'll walk you through a bunch of different packages about types of loans and what that loan may cost you. And the 800 lenders I've seen be somewhat difficult to really make an apples to apples comparison to each other. And that's hard. It's hard to build that trust that I was talking about with that person or that loan officer, because you know, my clients who've used them sometimes feel like I'm missing this information, or I didn't get this information until 2 weeks too late. That could be a problem. Now, I'm not going to say that your rate isn't important. Shopping your rate is a good thing to do, and we all want the best deal. You might take whatever your quote is from your 800 lender and shop it with a couple of local lenders. What I would expect those local lenders to do is break it down and show you how their fees compare and what their rates may be. And hey, they might even rate match or be able to rate match what you have over here. So it's not going to hurt you to ask. One of the hidden things that's a benefit of working with a local lender is that they tend to be reachable. on weekends at times that you need them that are off hours, where these other people who are working on East Coast time, they may not be picking up their phone at 8 p.m. Pacific Coast time. It can be a problem. And you may be surprised if you've never bought a house before that, yeah, there are going to be times that you're going to call your loan officer that are outside of the 9 to 5 time. That's just how it is. Realtors know this. That's why their jobs are a little bit crazy on the hours. But I'm guessing that you work hard for your money and you expect your loan officer and realtor to do that as well. The other hidden thing about using a local lender is it can be a silent advantage to you in a competitive situation. So let's say I am a listing agent and I have 2 offers for my seller, and they are exactly the same in amount, and they both are willing to pay the same amount, but this one is using a 1-800 lender and this one is using a local lender, some guy that's down on 123 Main Street. What's the difference? Do they care? Yeah, let me tell you, sellers generally will care. Why? I'm going to present it to my seller the same way that I present it to my buyers. Hey, I have more confidence that this person is probably going to answer their phones and be available should something go wrong than I do of this person. And I am more confident, more than likely, that this person is going to be able to close that loan and that they're being honest and that they've gotten all the information they need to pre-qualify or pre-approve a client than I have over here. This might look like something that was just printed offline and doesn't have somebody I can easily pick up the phone and call and verify that information about. So it's a hidden advantage sometimes to use a local lender, and it's supporting the community too, so that's kind of a cool thing. So keep that in mind when you're out there rate shopping. Rates may not be the only important thing. Sometimes getting a deal closed takes somebody who's local and committed to you. The second financial assumption that I see people make is assuming that if they are getting funds, it doesn't really matter where they're from, so long as they get deposited when they need to. What do you mean? Let's talk about gift funds, or where money may be coming from for your down payment or your closing costs. It's pretty common to have mom or dad or grandma or somebody give you a gift that you can use for down payment of your home. Really common. A lot of us will complain and say, yeah, that's the only way I could have bought my first home is, my dad helped me out. My dad gave me some gift funds in order to make my down payment because I didn't just have $30,000 sitting in the bank, right? So what people don't know is that there's going to be reporting requirements for the person giving you the gift funds. What do you mean? Well, your lender is going to be asking a lot of questions and asking you for a lot of documents. Feels nosy, but they have to do this. Why? Because they got to make sure you're not money laundering or that there's not something fishy going on that would make you be disqualified for the loan. So they're going to ask you, among other things, for bank statements. And let's say they see that on, May 10th, here was a deposit of $25,000. That's irregular. They're going to look and find that. So then they're going to call you and say, please tell us where this $25,000 came from. What is this? And you say, oh, that was the gift funds that my dad gave me to buy the house. They're going to say, oh, okay, great. Now we need a letter from your father that says that this was a gift, and here's the form and the type of letter we need. And we want to see a couple of bank statements from your father. Right? What? Now, your dad may be cool about writing you a check, and that's awesome, but I have seen those parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles get a little taken aback when all of a sudden that mortgage lender wants to see their bank statements. A lot of people get not so happy about that, shall we say, and you don't want that to be found out and discovered that it's going to be a problem when you're already under contract for a home. So have that discussion with your lender before you start shopping for a home Get all the paperwork and the documents lined up so that way you know it's not going to be a problem and everything can proceed smoothly once you go under contract. Same thing goes for tips. If you just say, oh, I'm going to pay the earnest money deposit with my tips because I'm a hairdresser and I've saved up all this money from tips, that may be a problem. You want to make sure, talk with your loan officer and make sure that he knows or she knows exactly where that money's coming from. Is that going to be a problem? You can't just bring a coffee can full of cash down to the bank or the escrow officer and deposit that. They're going to ask questions because, again, they have to. It's not because they're nosy. It's because they're required to by the government to make sure that nothing fishy is going on. So talk about that with your realtor. And then the third assumption that I see people make financially about a house and purchasing a house is, oh, well, I'll write the contract for this amount, but I'm going to get a discount when it comes to inspections. I'm going to ask for money off because I'm going to make this offer on this house, but I really don't like that washer, dryer, and refrigerator. I'm just going to ask for money for that. So this is a common enough assumption that people somehow think that those inspections are part of your dollar, purchase price negotiation, and it's not. You're going to make a good faith offer on a house for the purchase price that you intend on paying. Now, yes, you do get inspections and you can ask for repairs or cash in lieu of repairs, but if it's a major bait and switch of we want $20,000 for a new refrigerator, washer, dryer, that's not going to come across too well to the seller. In fact, the seller's probably going to pretty easily figure out that bait and switch, and they're not going to be happy. You may get stonewalled on all inspectable things. They might just have enough of you and say, you know what, we're giving you nothing, because they may have taken offense. So go in assuming whatever is on your contract price is what you're going to pay, and then look at the inspections as a separate negotiation for deal breakers and things that you couldn't see when you made the offer but got discovered in an inspection. For example, if the roof has a problem and you didn't know that when you walked in, you can probably ask for repairs to that roof pretty easily. Every situation's different, but that's going to be easier rather than saying, well, this kitchen is outdated and I want $20,000 to update the kitchen post-inspection. Doesn't work like that. So a lot of assumptions are made about inspections. Make sure you talk through with your realtor about inspections before you even make that offer on that house, because you want to know, what you're getting into. There will be sometimes situations where the sellers are not willing to do repairs, and they may tell you that straight out. So you feel this situation out, your realtor can feel this situation out before you write that contract, because maybe it's not going to be the right house for you if it has a bunch of things that you think it needs to have done to it before it really is the home that you want. So going back over those three big assumptions is: one, rate is the only thing that matters when choosing a loan officer. Bad assumption. Number two is assuming that money coming from anywhere is fine as long as it gets deposited on time. Make sure you talk with your loan officer and realtor about where that money is getting sourced from and how it's coming into play in the transaction. And third is assuming that you can get money off on inspections. It may not work that way. And obviously every locale is different. I know inspections and the negotiation look different in different cities and different states. So that's part of your general discussion you should have with your realtor prior to shopping for a home or writing an offer. Make sure that you're clear about what is different about that this region versus maybe a region you move from. And it's just a matter of discussion. That's the way that you make sure that you avoid disappointment. And yes, unfortunately, it is very invasive feeling in terms of privacy, talking about your finances with a realtor, with a loan officer, but it's just necessary. It's part of what goes on when you buy a house. So I hope this has been helpful. If you are thinking about starting to look for a home here in Tucson, Arizona, I'm always happy to work with first-time buyers and second-time buyers too, and would love to hear from you. Thanks. And if you happen to be in the Tucson area and are going to be starting a home search soon, I would love to hear from you. Always looking for buyers that I can help educate along the way. Thanks so much for watching.